Okay, so out here we've got our demo Caravan, and I'll give you that it doesn't look much like a caravan. It's just a little trailer that's set up with the, this has actually got multiple systems on it that we can easily demonstrate and show how things are installed. The first one I want to talk about is the hydraulic flip down caravan leveling system. So you can imagine that you know, the chassis on this thing is similar to the chassis on a caravan, and what we've got down here is the actual ram and the foot. So this red part here ends up folding down, and it's got the hydraulic ram connected to it there. There's one of those on each corner. You can see you've got pretty good clearance underneath it. That red foot at the bottom is just sitting underneath the A-frame, so it doesn't really get in the way of entry or exit angles. It depends a bit on the van where we can mount them and what clearances we can achieve, but we're always aiming for as much clearance as possible with it. One of the things is you don't always mount them right on the corners. Anytime you do that and you're putting a lot of load on the van, you can end up twisting the chassis or the van, so sometimes it's better to actually move the legs a little bit closer to the axles. So that's the leg part of the system. The other part we've got is the hydraulic pump pack. So this one's on display here. It's normally hidden away in a cupboard or underneath the van. It's a pretty compact bit of gear. You've got your hydraulic tank here, your manifold, and your 12-volt pump here. You need a big heavy-duty connection to your batteries. It does pull a bit of power when it's running, but it doesn't run for that long. And then you've got the control panel. So somewhere inside the van, you have the control panel fitted. This is the current one for most systems, and it gives you the ability to turn it on and off, controls of the rams, and auto level if you've got that option set up on it. Being a demo trailer, there's a pile of other stuff on here that you can pretty well ignore. It's just that little panel there that gets fitted on the van. And with some of the systems you can have a remote control as well, so you can actually do the leveling from anywhere, which is quite handy if you're walking around the van keeping an eye on what's going on. So we'll kick this thing up and give you a demo on how it works. So I'll give you a demo using the remote control because that's the easiest way to use the whole system if you've got it. All you do is turn the controller on, the blue light comes on and syncs up with the unit, and then you can control the legs. Now, they are controlled in pairs. You either control the front pair, or the rear pair, or the left pair, or the right pair. So all you do, say I want to run these left legs down, click left on the button, and then extend. And you can see them start folding down there. I'll give you a bit of a close-up of it coming down to the ground. I've still got my finger on the button. It's coming down, 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 down. When it actually hits the ground, the leg will straighten up and the bolt will slide down into its locked position. So the back one's taking a bit of weight there at the moment. You can see that sliding down, sliding down, sliding down. And as it takes the weight of the trailer, it locks all the way in. So you can, if I come back a little bit now, you can see that the rear leg is down as well. And see, we've actually lifted the whole trailer right up with it. It's the same deal. I can retract it. If I drop those jacks at the moment, you'll see that wheel hit the ground at that point. So as it stands there at the moment, it is actually pretty level, but you can do the same thing with the other side too. So we just choose right, and then we push the button, and those legs will go down. Same deal, they'll slide all the way down, hit the ground, and take the weight of the trailer. To do your fine-tune adjustments, you then just use the individual buttons. You do the left ones or the right ones, front or rear, and it's all pretty easy. So I'm just holding the button down until they all hit. You'll see here that the front one hits the ground, and then the second one hits the ground before they actually start taking any of the weight. Again, If you look at this part just above the tyre there, you can see the trailer lifting up, and that whole wheel is now off the ground. And that is really, really solid. If you jumped on that, you wouldn't notice it move an inch. So super easy system to use. All you do to retract it is push the all button, go retract, and then they all start coming up. So if you've had enough of crouching down or bending over to operate the stabiliser legs on your van, this is the go-to system. Remote control, push button, it's all done for you. It couldn't get any easier than this. The foot itself is a really simple mechanical system. I'll show you a close-up of the leg coming up here. All that happens is that when the red steel foot hits the ram, it rotates around that little radius, folds up itself, gets on its limits, and then stops. Each leg comes up at a slightly different time, which is fine. Once they're all up, the pump senses it and then cuts out, so you can't overload it. So a good question is, how high can they lift? The rams have certainly got a limit to them. The internal part of the ram only comes out so far, and in certain situations you are going to hit that limit. I'll just give you a demo here. So if I just put the front ones on and then we'll bring them all the way down, you'll get an idea of what sort of length these ones are. We can actually fit different length rams depending on your van. So if you've got a bit more clearance and you need that extra height, we can use a bigger system that helps out. But it doesn't matter how big a ram you put on it, at some point you're going to hit the limit on it. So all you do is throw a block of timber underneath it, or one of our other systems. We've got some good levelling pads there available to take up that difference. And as you use the system more and more on your own particular van, you'll get used to knowing when you're going to need the block before actually levelling the system. You just throw it underneath there, push the button, and away she goes. So that's on the limit there. The pump starts making a slightly different noise when the rams are right out. And you can see there at the angle that it's sitting on, it's pretty extreme, but it all does depend on where you fit the actual rams, the length of your van, all that sort of stuff. But there's a fair bit of throw in them for most situations.